Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. Memorandum of Understanding signed between the UK and Trinidad and Tobago which addresses healthcare. Greater strides must be taken to allow Trinidad and Tobago to tap into South American markets and economies. And a warm welcome for the national under-20 women's team. Thank you for joining us. Retired health specialists from the United Kingdom will come to Trinidad and Tobago to train young medical health professionals. This is one of the conditions of a memorandum of understanding signed between both nations, which addresses healthcare.
The MOU seeks to place emphasis on the promotion of trade and investment in Trinidad and Tobago's healthcare sector. Minister of Health Dr. The Honorable Fuad Khan says the signing of the MOU is consistent with the government's medium-term policy framework, which highlights healthcare services and hospitals as a priority for action. He explains the MOU will help in modernizing and expanding the capacity of existing healthcare facilities in Trinidad and Tobago.
Primarily to promote cooperation between the two governments in the field of healthcare. This partnership allows the Ministry of Health to fulfill its objectives of modernizing and expanding the existing competencies of our healthcare facilities. Through this signing of this 5-year memorandum, the United Kingdom will assist the Ministry of Health in achieving these goals through cooperation in specific areas which include 1. Medical, technical and organizational planning, project management services and construction supervision, renovating and equipping selected hospitals, technical support as well as training and development of hospital staff, international healthcare accreditation.
British High Commissioner to Trinidad and Tobago, His Excellency Arthur Snell, says the MOU simply formalizes and lays a proper framework for something which both governments have been discussing for some time.
The basic premise of what we're trying to do today is really to enshrine something which has actually happened throughout the history of Trinidad and Tobago, which is cooperation with the United Kingdom in the field of healthcare. So we start from a position of a strong connectivity and a strong recognition of each other's healthcare systems, but something that we identified quite early on in my time here and in my discussions with the Honourable Minister of Health was that in fact we could go a lot further, we could work a lot more closely together, and we could help each other to expand the healthcare sector in this country, which, as has already been identified, is a major priority of this government.
Ambassador Snell believes this MOU will serve a dual purpose, as it will also strengthen the relationship between TNT and the UK.
At a human level, at an individual level, the connections between our two countries, of course, are very strong and among a whole range of activities, and healthcare is no exception. There are any number of very, very distinguished physicians from this country who've given considerable service in the United Kingdom, and many of them operating here in Trinidad and Tobago have had the opportunity to do some of their training in the United Kingdom. So it is a great pleasure to be able to enshrine that, to be able to give that some level of formality, and to be able to make a commitment jointly with the government of Trinidad and Tobago to work together in the future to deepen those connections.
Meanwhile, Dr. Khan believes Trinidad and Tobago will be the greater benefactor, as there is a lot the national healthcare sector can learn from the UK's healthcare setup.
Their medical model is one that we wish to emulate here, while keeping our unique perspective and established systems in mind. Some proposed areas of collaboration as it relates to primary healthcare include 1. The establishment of the electronic patient records, 2. Alternate access to secondary health facilities that will reduce the strain on our emergency rooms, 3. Enhancing our neonatal intensive care units, and 4. Installing and managing palliative care services in the nation's hospital.
Next on the agenda, following the signing of the MOU, is the UK Caribbean Health Trade Mission. The trade mission will be hosted by UK Trade and Investment and will be held on November 5th and 6th. Gregory McBurney, News 4.
Greater strides must be taken to allow Trinidad and Tobago to tap into South American markets and economies. So says Minister of Transport, the Honourable Stephen Cadiz.
Minister Cadiz makes the plea as he addresses a recent forum hosted by the Association of Caribbean States. Speaking at the forum, the minister explains trade between the Caribbean and South America is less explored than trade between the Caribbean and North America, despite the Caribbean region's proximity to South America. He says the cost of trade between South America and the Caribbean is a key factor in this problem.
We need to be able to bring the cost of trade within the region down to an acceptable level. It is cheaper to trade between the United States and Trinidad than it is for than Trinidad and neighboring Venezuela, for instance. Okay, it is easier for me to go to the United States, whether it is to New York or to Miami or to Houston, soon to be other areas, than it is for me to go to Venezuela. And I can see Venezuela from my office. Venezuela is 7 miles away from Trinidad.
Minister Cadiz says Trinidad and Tobago's relationship with Venezuela is a prime example of how the cost of trade can prohibit market and economic growth. However, he says he is fully committed to changing this and is calling on the other countries in the Caribbean to challenge the problem.
There's a huge population, for instance, in Venezuela, and Trinidad and Tobago, for instance, has never been able to take advantage of that, of the economy of Venezuela, to really and truly make it very much part and parcel of our own economy. I really and truly would like to see real strides made in making this thing happen. And I think if we all put our minds to it, without a doubt, we will see in the very near future that we can in fact see the ACS countries being a unit that really and truly has shown itself to be in a position to correct something as major as the connectivity.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
When we come back, President Anthony Carmona is the University of Trinidad and Tobago's newest chancellor. Stay with us. Welcome back. President Anthony Carmona has become the University of Trinidad and Tobago's newest chancellor. Upon receiving his oath, the president called for the introduction of critical thinking as part of the school curriculum nationwide if we are to develop strong, resilient leaders.
The University of Trinidad and Tobago installed President His Excellency Anthony Carmona as its newest chancellor. His Excellency expressed his pleasure in becoming the newest chancellor of UTT, an institution he describes as young and vibrant with the capability of transforming our nation. However, he called for a transformation of providing education towards developing critical thinking among students.
Critical thinking will build capacities for not only recognizing problems, but finding workable solutions. It will build a culture of the importance of prioritization and establish an order of precedence in problem solving. It will interpret data, appraise evidence, and evaluate arguments, drawing warranted conclusions and generalizations, and will finally lead to the rendering of accurate judgment about everyday life. Philosophy, therefore, is the art of clear thinking, but philosophical understanding also calls for action.
He added that making UTT a #1 educational institute across the world has become one of his mandates upon taking on this role.
My functions are not merely limited to the conferment of degrees. As Chancellor, I am both ambassador for and advocate of the UTT. My focus is directed mainly outside the walls of our campuses, raising our profile and advancing our interests throughout the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, as well as beyond our shores.
The role of Chancellor means providing sound direction and leading the university. Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training Fazal Karam says these are the characteristics found in His Excellency President Carmona.
The position of Chancellor brings with it an expectation of commitment to the university's mission and strategic direction. As a matter of fact as well, it involves a passion for education, an unwavering dedication to lead in a way that is inclusive and enabling. His Excellency's vast leadership experience and admirable level of interpersonal skills will no doubt establish confidence and inspire UTT's students, alumni, faculty, and staff as they work harmoniously to further develop the university.
His Excellency says the provision of education at UTT has made many inroads in TNT's tertiary education and skills sector.
The charge that I have been given and which I accept today to be your Chancellor is not one I will take lightly. Citizens of Trinidad and Tobago are among some of the most fortunate in the world in that we live in a country which provides free undergraduate tertiary level education. Today, there is no dearth of institutions offering instructions at the tertiary level, and the UTT therefore finds itself as one of the many available options. In such a climate, it is imperative that the UTT set itself apart and hold its own as a unique high-quality option within our educational landscape.
While UTT was established in 2004 and created with the energy sector in mind, the university has since then branched off into humanities and social sciences, creative arts and other areas. Minister Karam says this is reflected in the MOU signed on with other international-based institutions with the sole aim of improving the quality of studies offered.
UTT has formed a series of strategic partnerships and alliances with leading universities and agencies. Among others, recently signed memoranda of understanding are with the following institutions: the Pandit Dindayal Petroleum University, the PDPU of India, to collaborate in faculty and student exchanges, joint research projects, and other areas. Memorial University, Newfoundland, Canada, for the advancement of marine education and training through staff and student exchange and program development initiatives. The Sheridan College Institute of Technology and Advanced Learning, Canada, for the integration of practical training with academic application into the area of animation studies.
Kimberly Kalawan, News 4.
The Ministry of the People and Social Development has launched another senior activity center through its partnership with the interreligious organization.
Citizens of Penal will have another place to call home within their community as the Ministry of the People and Social Development launched the Penal Senior Citizens Activity Center. The center, which opened on Friday, is situated at the Jiwan Sudar Ashram Oneness Center, and according to Dr. Glenn Ramadar Singh, this is one of several such centers across the country.
The Ministry of the People and Social Development have indeed built 8 senior activity centers in the last 2 to 3 years. But those have taken a long time because you have to acquire land, you have to rent, you have to lease, and those things cause a delay. What we've done is recognize that the differently abled, the elderly, those who need activity centers such as this, the challenged, are already attending places of worship. So we partnered with the interreligious organization, and so they volunteered some names, and we gave them an idea of different parts of the country. And Swami here was able to rise to the challenge.
Minister Ramadar Singh explained that there were already a number of activities taking place at the ashram, and his ministry's latest project would only enhance the wide range of activities offered there. He spoke of the many non-communicable diseases that affect senior citizens of the area and noted that the initiative would help them with their medical conditions by physical exercise, as well as expose them to technology by means of the new computer room.
Senior Activity Center will engage our senior citizens. It will get them involved in computers, it will get them involved in the dance, it will get them involved in the karate, in the meditation, and I'm sure from strength to strength they will build into sports, physical activity, gymnasium, and this seed that we have planted today with the help of the corporate community, the business community, and the following that is here from Penal and in other parts of the country may springboard us into a wellness center where the elderly will be cared for, they will be engaged, they will be activated, and life can begin again at a 60.
The Honourable Minister believes that how senior citizens are viewed is equally important as the facilities they are provided with. He said if they are not treated with love and respect and properly cared for, the project would not succeed. Swami Bhagwantam Das expressed his pleasure at the launch of the centre at his ashram as he thought of the possibilities that could be derived.
Today is wonderful. It is a history in Penal here today to have a centre of this type established. Well, I have been involved in social work, humanitarian work, even from quite the age of 18, a very early age, where I was made the head of a religious group. And from then on, we went from village to village, spreading the knowledge and giving human values and helping people to uplift their life. And from then on, there was no stop. I continue to move forward, further and further, and to reach as much people as we could.
He said over the years, the Oneness Centre was unable to complete or even embark on a number of projects due to several constraints. But with the ministry's intervention, he believes this is now possible. The activity centre is to serve both as a social place and a place where the senior citizens over the age of 55 could exercise and develop healthier habits. Minister Ramadar Singh is calling on the wider public to show interest in the project and contribute in any and every way possible. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Sport is up right after the break. Stay with us. The national under-20 women's team did not emulate their under-17 counterparts by capturing the Caribbean Football Union title, but their second-place finish in the competition guarantees Trinidad and Tobago an opportunity to compete for a place in the World Cup. The team returned from the CFU tournament on Monday, and News 4 Sports was part of the welcoming committee. Wayne Cunningham has the details.
National under-20 women's team lost 1-0 to host Jamaica in the Caribbean Football Union Championship on Sunday. With the second place finish, Trinidad and Tobago has qualified for the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying tournament, which will be hosted by the Cayman Islands in January 2014. Team coach Isla Brown expressed her thoughts on TNT's performance in Jamaica.
I think it was a tremendous performance for this group of players, seeing that we only had roughly 3 to 4 months preparation, winning our group, winning our semi-final game that put us into the last qualifying round for the World Cup. We played Jamaica in the final, a hard-fought final that we lost 1-0. But I think credit to Jamaica, they were well prepared. But also credit to us for being, a few months in preparation and were able to probably, win the game if we took, the opportunities we created.
The former national forward is optimistic about the team's next assignment.
CONCACAF leg, which is the final leg for the World Cup, which is in January, so it's a very short period again. Best preparation that we could probably get. I'm hoping it is way better than the last set of preparations we've had so far. And see how we fare. I think it's an open field. It's 3 teams qualifying for the Under-20 World Cup in Canada next year. And all we want really is the ability to compete and given a fair chance to qualify, which I think is what any team wants. So we look forward to see what happens in that respect.
Team captain Anik Walker was proud of the team's performance, but stressed that they need to improve to do well at the CONCACAF level.
It was a really tough tournament, and hats off to the team because we really stepped up and gave it our all. It's just we got an unlucky goal in the finals, but we did what we had to do and qualified for the CONCACAF level, so I was really impressed. We obviously need to do a lot of improvement because we can't be losing to Jamaica and go out there and expect to win to the big USAs and Mexicos, So we have to improve, but we have a big chance because it's three teams going ahead. So we could definitely be one of them.
Team manager Lindell Hoyt Sanchez put the team's performance into perspective.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give them a 9.9 with regard to their performance. Having been in a CFU final with all local players, losing 1-0 to Jamaica that had 6 foreign-based players is a great plus for our national team and a great plus for our 20 program.
Manager Hoyt Sanchez was clear on what is needed for success at CONCACAF.
Preparation for the team with regards to qualifying for World Cup is one where we would need a lot of assistance with regards to getting international exposure, getting the girls at that level, because on this current team we would have 5 girls with international exposure who would have played at World Cup before, but the others are inexperienced, and the support, the financial assistance is necessary. We haven't had much assistance from the TTFA thus far with regards to finances, and we're hoping that the finances can come forward.
Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
Thank you very much, Wayne. News 4 continues right after this. Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 Report, a product of the Government Information Services and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Thank you for joining us.